Good morning, my lovely backstitchers. Today we're going to be starting the Swoon Denver SAL. I know it's very unusual for us to start on a Saturday, but due to the nature of our prizes, I wanted to be able to end the SAL on a Wednesday. This way, 2 lucky winners will get to shop early from the Pixie round, and they'll be able to shop on Thursday. So that's the only reason why I'm starting the SAL on a Saturday. Plus, some of you are free, but we'll see. We'll figure it out in time, based on when strikes get here, and based on when the round opens, when we'll do the next so-alongs. But this one starts on Saturday and ends on a Wednesday. So I'll be picking the 2 winners randomly on Wednesday evening after 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not going to go ahead and modify the pin post right now because I'm hoping eventually I'll go back to Monday to Friday. But for now, this one happens Saturday to Wednesday. So now that we got out of the way, I do wanted to say a huge thank you for joining us today. We've had a lot of new members joining the group. We've also had old members in the group that were super active this week and super helpful. So I do want to give a big thank you to all of you for being here and for purchasing the pattern and using my link. I do appreciate it. You guys have no idea how much. So thank you for that. And as always, first day is saved for printing the pattern, cutting the fabric, and in this case, interfacing it because we're doing a bag. It may look like a daunting task, but it's not. It's really an easy task. It's just probably very time consuming, whereas when we start sewing, the days will be shorter. So I wanted to give you a few tips, a few pointers for getting over this first day. Let me preface this by saying that I am not a bag maker. I'm not a professional bag maker. So we're going to be doing this sew along from an amateur point of view, from somebody who has sewn a couple of bags, but I don't do this every day. We are here to all learn together. So let's get started. My first tip, when you print a pattern, obviously follow the instructions, print actual size or 100% on letter paper. So this is not something that I really need to tell you, but I wanted to give you one tip when it comes to cutting your pattern piecing and interfacing. So first one is when I cut, ignore the drawings on the paper. I like to recycle paper, so I just reprint on old paper. Saves money and save the trees. So I cut my pattern piece. I'm doing the large, but everything applies to the mini version too. So I cut my pattern piece and then I went ahead and snipped and cut along the dash line, excuse me, on one side and one other side. And then I left about an inch stuck together this way. This piece can come out of the way and I don't have to print this piece twice or look for it, lose it, glue it back together. This way I have this together and it's here for good. Then you have your back pattern and your bottom pattern. And this page, I think it's page 1 and 2 of the, and 3 of the actual paper pattern, not the instruction. So for this one, I actually went ahead and printed it twice. One, I cut normally, like the pattern says, and the other one, I traced half an inch away from, so with the marker, I traced on the second one, half an inch away from the edge, not on the fold part, just on the curve and the bottom part. And then I cut my foam piece like that. This will ensure that my foam piece is exactly as instructed in the pattern. So it takes like 5 minutes more, but it's gonna save you a lot of hassle instead of just cutting this one and having to reprint it every time you need the pattern. So I just printed it twice and have this as my foam only. I put a mark on it. It says foam only. This way I know it's half an inch smaller. And I did the same thing for the bottom. So this is the pattern for the bottom. And this is what I did. I went ahead on the second one and traced 1/2 inch away from the edge and made my own foam piece. So these are the two, plus the sides. You also need the pockets for this pattern, the outside pockets. You'll need your zipper, whatchamacallit, connector, the one that goes in the front. This is a great piece to add some accent, a little sparkle or something fun to your bag. And you also need the zipper tabs. I did want to mention something about the zipper tabs, because if you see here, this is where the actual pattern piece ends, where the line is. I went ahead and added a little bit, I think 1/4 inch more to it, because I'm going to be using number 5 tape, for my panel, for my zippers, instead of the number 3 suggested in the pattern. So this piece is 3 by 1 inch, but my zipper tape is larger than that. So because of that, I went ahead and made my own piece a little bit wider. This way it accommodates the number 5 zipper tape. This is 1 1/4 inch, see? So I just basically added 1/4 inch on one side and made my piece, because I tend to use only number 5. So I don't think I'll ever need the one for number 3. So I just changed the piece altogether. Let me see if I can show it to you better. All right, so this is my zipper. What else? You also need, from the pattern, your straps, backpack straps, your connector straps, the one that go on the bottom of the back of the backpack, your clip, the one in the center, this one here, the bottom one is your clip connector, and you also need the handle. So these are just measurements in the pattern that you will have to cut. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about, the actual paper pattern pieces. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the supplies. You will of course need your main fabric. If you're using fabric, you can use cotton lycra, just make sure you use 101 to interface it. You'll need your lining. My fabric for the main part and the pockets is not here yet when I'm taping this video, so I will be adding it to it a little bit later on when I cut it, or when you see the picture of my first day picture. But right now I'm just showing you everything but the actual main fabric, because it's a strike off from the Pixie Round and it's on its way to me, coming safely very soon, but I just don't have it right this second. So this is what I'm using for lining. It's our woven waffle, toasted waffle print. I'm gonna use this for the lining. You will need zippers, which for the large size are 12-inch zippers, handbag zippers, number 3. However, if you're using zipper tape, based on what I was advised from people that have done this pattern before and what I've seen in the Swoon group, I put this one backwards. Based on what I've seen in the Swoon group, you would have to cut your zipper tape a little bit longer than what the pattern calls for. Because when you use pre-made zipper, handbag zipper, they have a little bit of a tail without the teeth, and that's not actually included in when you cut the 12-inch. So I cut my zippers, I think 13 inches or 14 inches, and I can always cut the excess off. So these are my 3, about 14 inches probably, zipper tape teeth. I'm just trying to make sure I put my teeth on the right side of the zipper, but I'm guessing any sides can be the right side. Of course, zipper pulls if you're using tape. This is a super cool gunmetal, red and gunmetal tape that I got from a Facebook group. Super cool. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about zippers. If you're using zipper tape, cut them at least an inch longer than what the pattern suggests for your 3 pieces of zipper. Same thing for the mini one, if you're doing the mini. I'm doing the large. You also need one connector for swivel clip for the front and one for the center strap. I'm also using gunmetal. You will need a rectangle for the back straps, 2 rectangles, one for each strap. In my case, I did not have any rectangles, so instead of purchasing gunmetal rectangles, I went ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and use swivel clips and D-rings. Same process. It's not gonna change much. It's just gonna make that the back straps can be open versus being it's just purely decorative, so it's not gonna make a change. I just didn't want to invest in more hardware for this bag making hobby of mine. So this is what I'm gonna use. You also need 2 sliders for your straps. I got these gunmetal ones on Amazon. Not a big fan. I'm too lazy to return them. They're like, this is what I love. This shiny gunmetal, not this dull one, but whatever. It sort of matches. Flexibility, guys. Flexibility is the name of the game in the backstitch back room. We're gonna have fun. We're not gonna be super strict. This is not for shops, for selling. This is not. This is taking you out of your daily routine of being super perfect and doing everything right. One little piece every day, and flexibility. That's the key word today. And every day. What else? You need, and I highly encourage you not to skip it, Wonder Tape. It's gonna help you with the zippers, and it's gonna help you if you use vinyl. This is Dritz Wash Away Wonder Tape, the one that I have here, a little bit left. And this is a new one. I'm testing it out from Amazon because the price is so good. It's like 4 of these rolls for $12, whereas a Dritz is like half the size of 1 roll, and it's $3 or $4. So it's really a good price for the roll. So I'm gonna try this one this time. Tags, if you want to add tags. These are those cute Made with Magic and I Took Forever tags that I love. Again, optional. Water soluble stabilizer if you don't have a Teflon foot, or if your machine is like really finicky about working with vinyl. This is your solution. Water soluble stabilizer between your presser feet and your vinyl will make it slide like butter. And between your presser foot and vinyl, also dog feet and vinyl. So this is your solution. If you don't have a Teflon foot, you don't want to invest in one, or your machine doesn't like vinyl, this will make it slide like butter, and you just rip it off. Whatever is left off, you just dab with a damp cloth at the end, and it's going to just disappear. It's wash away water soluble stabilizer. This is the Teflon foot that I like to use. I got this one on Amazon. It's from Cutex or Cutex. I called it Cutex, and then I heard somebody call it Cutex, and I felt like it made probably more sense to be called Cutex than Cutex, but whatever. So this is for a low shank machine, like a home machine. They also have them for high shank machine, more of an industrial machine. So this is a Teflon foot that I love. I got one from Amazon and I don't like it. So I would go with this one, the one that comes with the shank from Cutex. I purchased all the stuff that I'm showing right now. I paid for them. Nobody gave them to me for free, so I'm not advertising. Everything that I've showed you so far, I paid for from my own pocket. So this is not a paid ad. It's just me giving you a honest review, sort of, on them. All right. If you want rivets, this is what I'm gonna be using the rivets also from Amazon. I mean, quite a few sizes, and they come with a manual tool to put them on. I also got myself for a birthday present a press, so I'll probably use that, an actual rivet press. Optional, not mandatory to have rivets. Clips, 101 interfacing. You can use woven fuse or you can use Shapeflex. This is Shapeflex from Walmart. Cut your pieces according to the pattern. Make sure they're mirrored if you have pieces A and B and they're mirrored. Alright, then you need foam for the bottom and the back. So what I do with the foam, I wanted to show you this because I already cut it. I take my white sheet of foam, take my piece that I made of foam, and using a pen, I like my friction erasable pens. I love them because they disappear when you hit them with the iron. I take my foam piece, like imagine this is the foam. I put my piece and I just trace it around it, just for the foam. I feel like it's much easier to just cut it if you trace it, and then flip on the other side, trace the other side, and just cut around with scissors or a rotary cutter. I find for foam, tracing it instead of cutting it with my rotary cutter around this, it's easier. But again, whatever works for you guys is fine. So make sure you cut your 2 pieces of foam. I'm using sew-in foam, not fusible, based on advices that I got from seasoned bag makers, professional ones, Shannon and Erin. Shannon from Shannon Created and Erin from Beetlebug. Both of them told me don't use fusible foam because when you birth the bag, it wrinkles and it's hard to get the wrinkles out. So I'm using sew-in foam per their advice, and so far I've been happy with all the bags I've been making myself. So I'm keeping it. Sew-in foam, I got this from Joanne in a 10-yard roll. So interfacing, I talked fabric. The last thing that I'm gonna be using, and again optional, if you guys want to use fabric also, that's fine too. The instruction in the pattern tell you need extra 101. I am using vinyl for my back, my straps, and the handle. This is actually marine vinyl that I got by the yard from Joanne for a very good price. If you catch one of their big coupons and it's not on sale, it's a very good price for marine vinyl. And they have some pretty colors, at least my Joanne did. I got this blue, I got some bright lime green. So this is Joanne marine vinyl, and you can get it by the yard, which means you have a huge piece to work with. So I went ahead and cut those. And again, also for this, just like with the foam, I traced my piece on the vinyl. I actually went ahead and traced all of them on the sheet of vinyl and then cut. And see, you can see the line in the center because I put it on the vinyl, traced it, flipped it on the other side, traced it, and then went ahead and cut. So I have bottom, I have back, and because of the rest of the pieces are pretty similar rectangles, I went ahead and wrote on the back what they are, so I don't use them incorrectly. So this one is the bottom clip connector, so I know this is what it is. Then I have 2 strap connectors, says so on the back. And then I have my handle, and then I have my 2 straps. So these are long pieces of vinyl because I like my vinyl straps. I find them to be pretty comfortable. And keep in mind, if you do vinyl straps, test your machine out before you cut your vinyl to make sure it agrees with you using vinyl for straps, because we will be doing it I can't remember which day, but when we start sewing the connector, you will have, your machine will have to go through 4 layers of vinyl to do the straps and the connector. So make sure that your machine is okay with, so cut the vinyl that you have at home, fold it in 4 and run it through the machine a few times and make sure that the machine is okay with you using vinyl. If not, you can use fabric for the straps and everything for that matter. So make sure you don't aggravate yourself too much. Or I think you can actually buy pre-made 1-inch vinyl straps from some sellers online. I never bought them because I make them myself, but this is what your machine will have to sew through. So 4 layers of vinyl if you use vinyl. Let's see. So these are the pieces that I cut. What else? Oh, interfacing. For interfacing, I said it before, I like to use my heat press for that. So if you have one, go for it. I've used my heat press a lot more for interfacing than I actually do for putting vinyls on t-shirts. And the pattern also suggests you running a 1/2 inch zigzag stitch around the edge of the foam, just to press it to make it easier to sew. I don't necessarily think my machine needs it, but you can go ahead and do that. So when you interface your fabric, go ahead and put your foam in between the 101 and the fabric itself. This way, when you get to sewing, you won't be sewing through the foam. This is a smooth, nice surface to sew through. Obviously, the foam will stick to your 101. And for the edges, you gotta make sure you hit it right with your iron to make sure you seal this in. You can also use wash away wonder tape, for example. Put a couple of strips here, or fusible web ups as suggested, and then place your fabric, and this will ensure that it stays right there when you press it while you're sewing it. And once you're done sewing, it's gonna be fine because it's gonna be in between your stitches, the foam. So there is no place for it to move afterwards. So this is my tip for interfacing. I think that pretty much covers it. I'm still deciding on a pattern for if I do it or I won't. I'm still not sure yet if I'm gonna add a pocket to the back. I've seen some videos with people adding pockets to the back. I know for sure I don't want the back to be, the whole back to be a pocket. So I'm gonna be creating my own pocket for the back, and it's gonna be like a square one inside of the back lining. If I'm gonna go ahead and do that, to double check some things before, but I am not going to be doing the back that's full. I've seen some hacks in the Swoon pattern group where the whole back is an actual pocket, and I don't want to do that. I'm not a fan of that idea. I'm gonna do, if I do, I'm gonna do a small pocket on the inside, and when we work on the back piece, probably tomorrow, I'm not sure about the schedule, I'll double check, but by tomorrow I will have decided if I do or not the back. And if I do, you will need an extra zipper and the pattern piece that I'm gonna give you the measurements for, if I do. Peer pressure is real, guys. You made me do so many bags already, but anyways, I digress. So go ahead and start cutting your fabric, your lining, your foam interfacing, vinyl if you use it, and everything else. Gather your supplies, and as always, snap a picture of everything ready to go, interfaced, and post it in the comments of the day 1 thread in the Sew Along album, the Denver Sew Along album. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my fabric when it gets here, and I might add a little bit to this video then. If I don't, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. If not, I will see you in just a second. Bye, guys. All right, my darlings, I'm back. I am back on a different day. Same video, but different day. I got my strikes in the mail, so I wanted to show them to you first of all, and then I wanted to cut the leftover fabric that I had to cut. I was waiting for the fabric for. So I'm gonna be using for mine the pixie print, woven, super beautiful. And then I'm gonna do some panels for the side pockets. I am super excited about this. So let's go ahead and start. I wanted to show you how to cut that. It's super quick and super easy. Pretty much have your fabric fold wrong sides together. This will yield you two mirror images. So I'm gonna put my fabric like so. So now I have two sides and they are mirror images. And you do the same thing for the lining afterwards. In my case, I've already cut the lining. I'm gonna put my main piece. So instead of cutting a panel A and a panel B, I'm just gonna cut one time with the fabric wrong sides together. This would yield me two mirror images. So I'm taking away the piece like I mentioned before, because this is for the front. For the lining, you leave this pocket attached, this piece attached, but for the front, you don't need that. So I'm gonna cut my fabric like so, and my rotary cutter. So this is the large Denver that we're working on. I do think it's time to change my blade. Alright, so my main panels are done, and now I'm going to be cutting the pockets, the outside of the pockets, and the lining for the pockets. So these are done. I've already cut my woven interfacing for this, so this is all set. For the pockets, I'm using our woven panels, so the graphic is smaller than the cotton lycra panel, and which makes it perfect for this bag. So I want to do my Edna to go with my dress, and I think I'm gonna do up or Monsters Inc. Now I'm thinking maybe I should do Monsters Inc. since I have some years with Monsters Inc. I think I'm gonna do Monsters Inc. instead of up. Oh, decisions. So if I want to cut them at the same time, what I need to do is make sure that the graphic aligns nicely, or I can just do two cuts instead of two mirror images. I'm just double checking that the graphic works. There is a faint line between the panels, so I can also use that as a guide. So this is my graphic right here, and I'm looking on the back to see if it matches. Well, not really. So I think just to be sure that I'm not messing up my panel graphic, I'm just gonna cut two times for the main part. For the lining, I'll just cut and fold. So my Edna will go on the left side. So I'm just figuring out where I like my image to go and where it would fit nicely. Because I do have to accommodate for a little bit of a seam allowance. I really don't want to cut in the panel too much. So I think this is it. This is gonna be my Edna pocket. And then the other one, it's gonna be on the other side. So this will be the outside pocket. And then I need two for the lining. Two of this, the same piece for the lining. Okay, so this will be one pocket. How adorable is this? Oh my God, I love it. And I think I'm gonna do Monsters Inc. for the other one, because I have ears made with Monsters Inc. I initially wanted to do up, but I think I'm gonna do a bag for the up, just a bag from it, a separate one. So now I'm doing the other side, which is I'm playing my pattern piece. Instead of doing it right side up, I'm putting it right side down to make sure it's a mirrored image. And again, same thing, I'm double checking that where my graphic ends, it fits nicely here. There you go. Double check that I cut right along the line. Yeah. All right, so this will be my other pocket. How gorgeous is this? And this is my other pocket. And we'll be working on the pockets tomorrow. All right, so now I need 2 sets of linings. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fold the panel set like so. You can see where I cut the panels out. And I'm gonna do the lining out of it. And then probably the zipper tabs too. I'm not sure yet. All right, so one, I want to use waste as little fabric as possible. Because it's the lining, it really won't matter where it goes. All right, so I'm gonna do this for the lining here. And then another one. And then the zipper tabs and you're all set. So I'll keep cutting. Make sure you guys snap a picture, like I said before, of your day 1 progress and post it in the album, the first day photo of the album. And I'll see you back here tomorrow when we'll be working on the pockets. So I'm excited to see what fabrics you guys have chosen for your project. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.